Well, hey everybody, it's Sandy and welcome back to my channel dedicated to helping you advocate for your own health one topic at a time. So guys, today I want to start a new discussion and perhaps it'll be a recurring topic called what's inside the mask. So some of you might have seen a recent video in which I was reviewing a mask and I wasn't sure about the middle fabric, that hidden layer in the mask, because there was a discrepancy between the website description and what the retailer had told me by email. So I went ahead and cut that mask open and just got a better look at what was inside and was able to give you my thoughts on it. So I hadn't even uploaded that video yet when I received a question from a viewer about the Starks mask, asking me if I would want to look inside a Starks mask and sacrifice one mask and just get a look at that middle layer. Now, I can't say I want to commit to cutting open every single mask that I review, but the Starks mask gets a lot of traffic on my channel, so I decided I'm going to go ahead and open up that Starks mask and we'll get a look at the inside. So if you want to see that, just keep watching. Yeah, so this is my bright blue Starks mask. I haven't used this one yet. It's brand new, guys. And this one comes with the adjusters. I just took those off and left them back in the package. So I thought to start with, I'll just do our usual water test on the outside and then on the inside and make sure that these layers are all functioning as they're supposed to, so that I know. Okay, so outer layer, the drops roll right off. They bead up and roll. And the inner layer, which I often have trouble getting on camera. Hope you guys can see that. It's all bright white, but it does sink in. Now, if it's too much of a roll downhill, it sometimes will roll a bit, but it does sink right in. Whereas this one, even if I leave it flat, see if I can get where you can see that, yeah, there's nothing I can do to get that. There's a drop just sitting there. There's nothing I can do to get it to soak in on the outside. So that's perfect. That's exactly the way this mask is supposed to behave. So like I said, I'm not sure I'm going to be doing this on every single mask that I review. It just will become tremendously destructive and wasteful. But one thing that I do want to put a lot of stock in is a crude test that I did in another video. I did the match test and the water test. I'm going to link that video right here. Now, in that video, I did use a Starks mask among others, and the water test involved putting several droppers full. So not a drop or two drops, but whole droppers full. So, you know, the whole dropper full. And about 3 of those droppers full, and I left them cupped here inside the mask and then waited to see if anything would come through. And you can take a look at that video to see how the Starks mask performed. So the Starks mask is purported to have the water resistant outside, which we did find, the moisture wicking inside, which we did find, and then on the middle layer, sometimes I call it the inside, right? Because it's the one you can't see, but to be clear, I want to call it the middle layer, which is the one that's concealed, is supposed to be a polypropylene. Now, one of the reasons I even got interested in the Starks mask to begin with is because that company is a manufacturer of vacuums and vacuum bags, and that industry uses a lot of polypropylene, so they saw a need they could fill at the time early on in the pandemic. So I don't think I'm going to find a surprise here, but we're going to cut this one open. I'm just going to cut off an end. Maybe I'll do that off camera. I'm just going to cut off this end here, and then we'll open it up. So we can see there's a third layer there. And actually, this is a pretty thick layer of polypropylene. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a slit just so I can expose this middle layer better. And I'm going to do the same thing on the inner layer, the layer that's next to the face. Yeah, guys, this does look like a non-woven. I'll try to give you a good close-up view. I'm pulling on it. It doesn't want to really stretch. And what I'm going to do is do a water test on just this layer itself and see what happens. All right, so I just opened this a little bit more so I can get more leverage. Now everything's white, so it's going to be hard to let people see. I'm going to put some water down on, try to get you a look at that. I've got some beads. You might see that's beading up. So there are some spots where it beads up and then it eventually sinks. Now, Polypropylene is supposed to be water resistant. It's not necessarily waterproof. I turned it around like a hand puppet. This is the other side. I haven't tested this end of that polypropylene layer. So now with my hand in there, I want to try to get a sense of how fast, whether it sinks through, and how fast, how long it takes. So it does sink in, but my fingers under here are not wet yet. Of course, they will be. And now I feel a little moisture on my fingers. Okay, so it seems to be acting the way I would expect it to, where, you know, the water collects. It will go through, although slowly, so there's a delay between the time that I put water here on one layer until I feel it underneath on the other layer against my fingers. So we also know how this mask performed as a whole with all three layers intact from the water test and the match test that I referenced before. What we found with the Starks mask is that several droppers full of water did not go through. So my guess is that's largely because of the water resistant outside layer, but probably somewhat because of some slowing from the polypropylene. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know. Please put any more questions in the comments box. If you haven't subscribed, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Always please share with anybody who might find my content helpful. And until next time, be well. Bye-bye.